Welcome to Numb Bills Fan Podcast. If you don't already, please subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, anywhere you find your podcast. Don't forget, numbbillsfan.com has all of our content. Welcome to Numb Bills Fan Podcast. This is episode number 124. I'm your host, David Palermo. I just got back from the first day of Buffalo Bills training camp, and I'm pretty stoked to talk about it. First impressions right out the gate, but before I get into that, I will be letting you know, check out numbbillsfan.com. All the previous podcasts are up there. There are podcasts on your feed. Subscribe to iTunes, or subscribe to Numb Bills Fan Podcast on your iTunes feed, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, wherever you find podcasts. If you don't know how to do it, you can actually send me a message, and I will tell you how to subscribe personally, what the best channel, most efficient way to get these podcasts is, and I could even deflect you towards other great podcasts like cover1.net, which is also a part of the network I'm a part of, which is called Grandstand Sports Network, which is a great radio station that's on the internet. Everybody involved has a time slot, like the Rock Pile Report podcast will have a time slot. I'll have a time slot. Great surprises in the works for who's a part of the network. So really stoked. It's getting underway. Grandstand Sports Network has boots on the ground at training camp. I mean, follow Kevin Massare on Twitter. Massare, however he pronounces it. I will actually be calling him in a minute. Hopefully he's still on to come on, so you'll know in a second. But don't forget to check out Grandstand Sports Network, and it's launching ASAP. I believe this coming Monday. If it's not up already, check out grandstandsportsnetwork.com. Great stuff. Check out the hashtag Best View in Sports, Grandstand Sports. You want to see what's going on? Hit that hashtag. Also, you already know Instagram. I'm super active. I'm super active on Twitter. Pretty active on Facebook, but Facebook takes up a lot of battery use for me during the day. And yeah, it might be a cop-out, but then I get sucked into reading about opinions I don't really care. So anyways, at work, Facebook ain't that great for me, but I do share a lot of stuff to our Facebook page, and I am active on Facebook during the season, as we all know. So always tune in wherever you want to find the content. If not, hit me up on any channel. I will personally get back to you ASAP. I appreciate all the love and support, as always. Things are looking bright. I will be at camp this Saturday, and with the rest of the media. So I'm pretty stoked to, thank you to Grandstand Sports Network for setting that up, to have the opportunity. And Kevin was just down there today at camp, and camp again just opened up. Lastly, don't forget, we're brought to you by Punch Drunk Sports. Punch Drunk Sports is a podcast network that it's actually a podcast that will now have a podcast network for comedians with podcasts about a sports team. Numb Bills Fan Podcast is the team that will be covering the Buffalo Bills, the podcast that will cover the Bills. So proud to be a part of it. The great Sam Tripoli, Ari Shafiro, Jason Tebow, they do a podcast called Punch Drunk Sports. Follow them on Twitter at Punch Drunk. If you like unfiltered sports talk of every topic, UFC especially, they know their stuff with that. Definitely jump on there, check it out. Jason Tebow is hilarious. I'm on like a plank and ladder, about to fall off of it with the humor this guy comes up with out of nowhere. And he's just free balling, and it's not safe for work for me if you do scaffold work and stuff. So also Ari Shafir, he just dropped a Netflix double special, which I don't want the last time that's happened. So Ari Shafir has a Netflix special out. That's pretty dope. Just saying. And he's on Punch Drunk Sports Podcast. And as always, Sam Tripoli, just saw him in Syracuse a couple weeks ago. He is in Toronto this weekend. If you're listening right now, it is Thursday. He's in Toronto Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Shoot Sam Tripoli a follow at Sam Tripoli on Twitter. And saying, just find the guys. Look up Punch Drunk Sports and head over to punchdrunksports.com. That network will be launching very, very soon. Should be really fun. So I'm going to try to call Kevin right now. Okay, so after some trial and error, I got Kevin on the line, and we got talking and forgot we were going to podcast. So, hi, Kevin.
Hey Dave, how are you?
I'm good. Where can we find Kevin on Twitter and everywhere
As
else?
absolutely as always at Kevin Massare, and obviously at Cover One on Twitter as well would be our main handle. And now going forward, we'll be at Grandstand Sports. So you can find us in a couple of spots.
Nice. That sounds, pretty stoked to be a part of this Grandstand Sports thing. So, how was it, Kevin? Tell people what you did today.
So today we actually, through Cover One and Grandstand, we got credentialed. So we were able to do everything that every other media source does, get access to player interviews, access on the field, access to do one-on-one interviews, access in press conferences, access to trainings and drills, and up close and personal to what people are doing in formation. So today was a big day for the community in our world, because generally sources of our size don't get this kind of access. So it was a big step in the right direction for media in general, I believe, to have more newer school thinking and getting us on air.
Yeah, and I can't believe, I mean, I can believe it, but I mean, we said it to each other just now, like, can you believe this? This is to me, this is like taking down the wall in Berlin. Like, this is like kind of like a big deal for the world, because
Absolutely. Like, yeah, it's a big change from, not letting anyone in but the typical, main media sources, and really reaching out to new viewers. Like, we have a really good audience, and people want to hear what we have to say, but we're really, and you'll start to see me get salty because we don't have access to the stuff that everyone else does. So with that access now, we're able to actually give out better content and produce things that we'd never be able to do before. So just being able to listen to player interviews and listen to different strategies, and hearing from the coach and GM, and being able to walk right next to Kim Bagula, things like that. We have access to that kind of stuff now, and it's a brand new world from when I first started back in call it 2009.
yeah, it's pretty crazy. I today it has been like so incredible. I'm in the shower and I just started like screaming, like, holy shit! I'm gonna be like able to like ask a question at like they're letting me in the building.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they do. And
Whoa.
on Saturday morning's your turn, so you get to, I'll be there as well Friday tomorrow, based on when you guys are listening to this. But so I got to, I'm Thursday, Friday, and then I'm a couple days next week as well. So make sure you tune in, and we're really able to give you really prime coverage now, not just what we're able to do off the scenes.
Yeah, and a couple podcasts ago, podcast 121, I just admitted to eating crow on the coaching staff with Rex Ryan, and it's like if I was around the team and I could actually pick up on work habits and whatever, and people were flaring off, oh, the team's lazy, oh, it's a typical Rex team, I could have actually confirmed that. If I would have known that Rob Ryan was running the defense, we could have hinted that out there without, vetting whoever said it, and that way the information is more accurate versus just haterade. Which is just like different, because again, we're not Entercom or Viacom or these big companies. Like, I got nothing to it's like amazing that like these people, it seems like they sell their soul for misinformation, because it just like will pay the bills, and you guys aren't even the ones getting the money. Like, you're not making $100,000 a year, are you? I don't know. Like,
no, I mean, definitely not.
Like,
we're still doing this, out of the goodness of our hearts, to be able to continue to build a portfolio and do something we love. Like, that's the difference between when we're standing there, Dave, and when someone else is. We're there because we want to be there, and it's a passion, and we want it. This is what we want to be doing. Other people are there for paychecks. So to be able to get the kind of information that now everyone else has, we're able to deliver better content back to our listeners and our viewers. And in Eric's case at Cover One, he can break down analysis now with press conferences, and he can chop those things in. So, it's a really big step forward, I think, for the whole community now that, we were able to be their training camp and be just as viable as another media source.
I would be honest with you too. And not for nothing, you're talking about, if you want to gloss, not, I want to stay humble here, but we've all kind of worked very diligently at this for a bit. And it's like, it's usually year-round content.
Yep.
From Cover One, I know from me, I could say that. Year-round content from you and other people you came up with. And it's not like I don't want to be at camp to have the show. Like, I just see these guys and it's like, I don't even know if they're paying attention. It's like High Five Party Club. And I'm like, okay, but it is what it is. I'm not going to judge, but it's like, I really want to see like what's going on. Like,
yep.
You're going to hear things on the field. You're going to hear all the, it's like, I just want to be in tune with it. So very stoked to do that and represent Grandstand Sports Network. So, thanks to everybody involved with that. But so let's dive right into it, man. I'll let you know. I just went to camp with my friend Tim Avery. We just were on the podcast the other day. 123, Tim and I. Well, Timmy. Tim's a great dude. Love Tim. So just some notes I had real quick. So I'll end on where I want to start, if that's cool with you. So definitely a Tyrod to O'Leary connection. I called it the raw dog chemistry. They seem to be on the same page. Preston Brown looks pretty damn athletic and instinctive out there. That's one that I would like to go in second. Now, Tim Avery goes Jordan Johnson running with his hair on fire. And I thought that was the case too. And if there's one theme overall, which I'd love to start, is, dude, this hard work is not baloney. They're running between drills. It reminds me of, honestly, being in a wrestling practice.
Yep.
It's up tempo, boom, boom, boom. This did not look like, hey, we're just going to break into guys. We're going to get everybody going. No. These guys knew what the hell they were doing right off the bat. They were rushing into the drills. There was not much teaching going on, and I mean that in a positive way. It didn't seem like there needed to be. Like, am I out of my mind, Kevin? You're right there. I thought the shit was together.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've never been to a camp under Dick Duran, Chan Gailey, and Rex Ryan. I've never been to a camp that, flowed as smoothly. Like, they knew exactly what they were doing. They were getting the first team, the second team, the third team in. Like, it was remarkable to see. So, it was a really good change from past, where it was kind of like they were lollygagging. There were injuries. One thing of note that I did notice today was everyone looked full strength. It was interesting to see no huge injuries in the offseason. Normally we come to camp and I get a report of 7 players that are on PUP list. Today was just, one minor injury with a backup safety. So I think that goes to the offseason regimen they were doing. And, Nate Geary and I were talking a lot about just how much faster it looked and how much more clean practice was running in general. And they were getting in a lot of different things, not just like the same segment for 30 minutes. So there was a lot to take away from it. Actually, I got to talk to Micah Hyde, and he told me that he personally loved the schedule and it was a player-friendly schedule. And when they got to talk about it and see the schedule for training camp, that we're happy with the way it turned out with the timing and the morning practices before it gets too hot and not too many practices. So the players definitely, the first thing Micah Hyde said was, and I'll put up his interview as I have it recorded, was, McDermott's, he's a hard coach to play for. He posts a hard practice, but at the same time, he's really player friendly. He's a player's coach. So it was really good to get up close, and hear, Micah say that, and, it really puts it into perspective for me as I watched camp. And keeping going on the defense, like I'll list off the starting defense real quick so everyone listening can kind of tune into that. It's, you got Shaq Lawson, Barry Hughes, Kyle Williams, and Marcel Darius. Then you had Preston Brown actually starting at inside linebacker. You had Ramon Humber starting at your weak side linebacker. And you had Lorenzo Alexander actually in almost like a 4-3 overlook. So
right.
He might add a 5th player on the defensive line that's actually going after the quarterback. So that was interesting to see that formation. And then you had Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Trey White, and Ronald Darby as your starters. So that leaves out Gerald Hodges and Reggie Ragland, who are two of our better linebackers. So there is some depth there on that defense, and I thought they were flying around. So that would be my first real thought for everyone listening. That defense looks in tip-top shape. I did not notice many errors.
I love me some Preston Brown. I'm sorry, man. I've been hammering the table. I am in love with the coach's son. I always call him the coach's son. I'm just going to make a shirt called Preston Brown, coach's son. Resign this guy now. I'm going to say it like now. I know it's just it's quote unquote just a linebacker to grow on trees, but like, man, Preston Brown is smart. Like it's like, just look at the instincts. And then you were saying also Shaq Lawson, the shape Shaq Lawson's in. Holy shit.
Yeah, he's a monster. I was standing right next to him. I'm like, this guy's not human.
He doesn't look. He almost looks. Maybe I'm nuts, but at least in the picture, he looks more Mario Williams, less Marcel Darius.
Yeah, he's a monster, dude. He looks in great shape. He was moving well. He's actually, everyone wants to talk about what to look out for, and he's the number one thing I'm looking out for, like how he's progressed. He's flying around. He was sprinting down the field after trying to catch a tight end at one point. So it's been good to see his rehab happen, and between him and Reggie Ragland, we're basically getting a whole other draft class.
I know, man. I am so stoked on this defense. Oh, and they're going out there. I get to see Leslie Frazier putting in work, and I'm like, oh, man, like, I like that. I just, it's like, dude, man, I wasn't even sure if I was going to do this damn podcast, and I'm like,
right.
Like, you know what I mean? Now I'm like, I'm more stoked about the team than I think in a long time, just because it's putting up, man. There ain't no attitude of like, hey, we got the guys back. We're just gonna take it slow and slowly break in, see what they can. Nah. They're running. They're running. They know where to be. They're competitive. Whatever way, at least for. I mean, dude. Usually I fall asleep at these camps. I'm miserable as hell. It's really hot. I like that they moved the entertainment right off the bat. Hey, here's the experience. Whoever's idea that was to move the bounce house and all the stuff I want to do, like a 7-year-old that I still do, but didn't have time today. Look, it's right out in front. Like, you get out of shopping, blowing your wad of money, and then you got the bounce house right in front of you, all that stuff. And like, that's cool. Like, it was like really like a cool experience. Like, I thought walking in, it was very up tempo. The practice was very interesting. I did not melt. I really liked the time of it because it seemed like you almost got more of like a diehard feel instead of a it's something to do feel. The 7:00 crowd, you know what I'm saying? Like, where I would get so irritated I could never find a spot to sit. Whereas for some reason, opening day of camp, I find a spot to sit. I don't understand. With room around me.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. It's a different atmosphere around. Actually, I was walking down the media row, and Brandon Bean was actually right there with me, and me, him, and Riley, the rookie receiver. All three of us were walking together, and they were commenting on how much they love Fisher, the setup, how beautiful the facilities are. So it was really cool to get a player, a GM, and myself. We were able to, like, kind of from three different perspectives talk about, the camp setup and, how it's going now. So it was really cool to have different inputs there. And it was a great experience for us to hear. Like, so now I can display, like, kind of what a player thinks. I can tell you what our general manager thinks, and I can tell you what I thought as a media member, kind of about the practices. So.
That's wow. How was not to put you on spot, but how was Brandon Bean? Was he a cool guy?
Yeah, he was a cool dude. Actually, I was talking with Brandon Riley, our rookie receiver, undrafted free agent, and just asking him to shoot in it and just talking about different things. And Brandon Bean walks. I didn't know it was him at first, and he just starts talking to us and just small talk, and I'm like, oh my god, that's Brandon Bean. So that Brandon Bean spent like a minute talking to like a low-level media guy like myself and a guy like Riley, who's like one of the players on the roster. He took time out of his day to kind of interact and talk with us about different things. So he was a real cool dude. Like, he looked like an athletic trainer. He was in great shape. He was ready for camp. He wasn't in like a suit and tie, like a stuffy suit and tie. It was a cool interaction that that I can always remember.
Wow, that's pretty That's pretty awesome, man. Like, I like to hear stories like that. Like, I don't know. This all sound weird. I've always wanted to meet like Chan Gailey, because he just seems like a good dude, you know?
Chan Gailey, yeah, no, he seemed, yeah, definitely. I don't have anything bad to say about Chan Gailey. He was also a very good offensive coach, so I have nothing bad to say about him personally. So wish him well in whatever he's doing. But camp today was great. I got to see a lot of different things. Our offensive line's doing a lot of different combo coverages, a lot of different combo mix and matches in terms of
what was the offensive line lineup.
It was interesting, man. Like Seantrell Henderson was getting time in at left tackle. He was getting time in at left guard. He was basically with the second unit through and through. He's not going to be forgotten with this coaching staff.
Good, that's my dude, man. I love Seantrell. I thought, I'd get me all the weed guys out of Miami. Whatever you want. Like, bring them all. Is that where he played? Miami? Was that Miami?
Yep, he was. At this point, he's pretty much going to make our roster after his remaining 5-game suspension. So then you had, your typical offensive line as everyone would expect it. Did start at right tackle today.
Who you broke up? Who started right tackle?
Jordan Mills.
Okay.
And then next to him was John Miller. Then, Eric Wood. Then obviously Rich Incognito. And then you had a rotational switch at left tackle. You had Cordy Glenn in there. I saw Seantrell Henderson in there, Deion Dawkins. So they have a lot of different mix and match going on, and very interesting. And then the second offensive line had Seantrell. It had Ryan Groy. You had Jordan Mills and Deion Dawkins swapping in there. So you had a lot of different, mix and match going on. Cam Jefferson. I mean, you had a few things, different looks. So
okay,
it's a strong unit. The offensive line's a strong unit.
Okay, so what about Dukas?
Yeah, Dukas was just rock solid on the second unit as well. Forgot to mention him. He was pretty much a stalwart on that second unit.
Do you buy the narrative that there's a competition with him and Miller at right guard? I don't buy it.
I actually saw that mix and match a little bit on the first team. Miller was in with the second unit a little bit, just to get more reps. But I don't see the competition, but I do think that Dukas is firmly, at least at this moment, on the team. So I do think he's your seventh offensive lineman. Between him and Groy, then obviously you have Seantrell, Jordan Mills, Deion Dawkins. So you have a good unit of 9 right there.
Now, what about receivers? I'd like to jump over to receivers.
Sure, yeah. Number 2 receiver was a big note of today for me, and that was Andre Holmes, pretty much playing exclusively as our number 2 receiver. Didn't really sub. No one else really subbed in there, so that was a really big note. Brandon Tate was getting second team reps behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Tate, Zay Jones, Rashad Ross, Philly Brown was in there. Another guy I really, really liked is Da'Keil Shorts. I know Eric
catches everything. Shorts. Yeah, I was looking forward to hearing about him.
Made a couple of good catches I saw over the middle, and then he made a big play toward my sideline on the left side of the field. So he's going to push. He's definitely going to make our practice squad. He's going to push to make our roster, though. So it'll be interesting to see how that shapes up. But, not too much of Des Lewis, not too much of Jeremy Butler. Rod Streeter made a catch down the right sideline at one point.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
But, not too much, lot less with the veterans. But it was weird that we were putting a little precedent to see Brandon Tate and Rashad Ross, who are 2 returners. We were giving them a lot of time at receiver, too.
Dude, I don't know what it is, man. Like, I believe that players need an opportunity. Example, it's almost like people would like to take a dump on Marquise Goodwin just because he was hurt for so long. And it's like, the dude quietly had a very good year. Like, I'm sorry. The guy was in the right spot at the right time, I thought, for the most part. Like, I don't know. Am I out of my mind? And I
think you're right for the most part, Dave, but there is something to be said for someone like Marquise who can literally never be on the field.
Yeah, but dude, last year he had a concussion, and when you gave him opportunity, I thought he made the most of it. What I'm trying to say here is I think the receiver position, it's like that, and you got to give these guys opportunity, and I don't think that Brandon Tate's really got a true opportunity, because you hear things from Donald Jones saying, like, when he was on the Patriots and I was playing special teams and he's running at you on returns, he's tough. He's literally knocking me hard. Like, that says something about that guy. It kind of makes you think, man, why can't you get the ball to that guy in space and let him do his thing? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm hoping to see with him getting opportunities. I want that durable slot receiver. You know what I mean? I don't know anything about him. Like, can he run good routes? Like, what's his deal? Like, can he possibly progress? You know what I mean?
Brandon Tate's actually played pretty well in Cincinnati at one point in his career. So I definitely think that there is room for him to increase his skill set. Though I think the difference between Brandon Tate and a couple others was he has had some opportunity in his career. Maybe not yet in Buffalo, but he has had some opportunity throughout his time to play receiver. So,
okay, so Andre Holmes was going up after the ball and went down, and then he was just kind of stretching himself out. Did he check out? Do you know?
I thought I saw him go back in, but I could be wrong.
Okay, I think he did too. He was like standing by the receivers, and it was nothing huge, but
no, he just fell on the ball. Looked like got the wind knocked out of him at worst. I think that was like literally the only dust up I saw all day.
Now, what about is there anything glaring to you? I thought I was shocked about the Cardale Jones things, but not shocked, because honestly, when you watch TJ Yates, it seemed like the ball was going to the right spot at the right time. And it looked like they were playing a zone defense a lot. And it seemed like where the routes lined up, the time, it just seemed like TJ Yates has a system down like the back of his hand. It didn't seem like these guys were lost. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, TJ Yates looked pretty much in place today. He was actually something Nate and I were talking about live. Was he was looking like he wasn't getting snaps. He dropped a snap. He also was getting the ball out of his hand really weirdly. So outside of having a few of those snap issues, and he did look like he had command of the offense and knew exactly what the plays would be called. He is just limited in some of his skill sets. Nathan Peterman, who I'm going to put up a soundbite in later on tonight, basically, said the same thing. He has a lot of accuracy. He knows where he's going, and he runs a smart offense. But he still needs to learn how to throw those out routes, as he almost got Da'Keil Shorts killed on a out pattern that Da'Keil Shorts came up with that almost turned into a pick six.
I guess now's the time to learn.
That's right. Yeah, you have to learn. It kind of reminded me of Trent Edwards a little bit with having a little limited of an arm on those out patterns and having a smart command of the offense. But this was day one for him rather than 5 years down the road.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what happens with Nate Peterman and TJ Yates, but I don't know. I really wanted to see Cardale Jones more. I really like that guy. But
yeah, I think he was the old regime's pick. It was easy to see that, like I said in my live show yesterday at Cover One, why they did it. It wasn't their player. He was awful in OTAs. Anthony Lynn, his ex-coach, really wanted to take a flyer on him. And one of the things I said was, what does it hurt you to keep him on your roster and then potentially have him earn himself more of a return when he played better this offseason? But they didn't even want to take the risk with that. They just kind of said, you know what, we'll take our 7th round pick this year and we'll take it rather than potentially having to cut him. To me, I think cutting him wouldn't have mattered. I would have loved to play him and see what you had in him and either kept him or earned like a 5th round pick.
I think they fell in love with Peterman.
Yeah, no, Peterman's their developmental guy. He was hand chosen. He's Dennison's player through and through. So,
and plus, isn't it like can't they maybe acquire Trevor Siemian or something? Were they talking about that?
Yeah, that was realistic at one point. Definitely probably was up before they signed TJ Yates.
Like, I would take him over TJ Yates. At the same time, it doesn't matter. And like, I don't know who has a better record. So I mean, I would take him over Peterman. Obviously. So
I would take Trevor Siemian over TJ Yates for sure.
Would you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, for sure. I would give up a pick for it too. So I definitely would. I think that he's a pick better than TJ Yates.
Right. So What other notes did you have? How did the defensive backs look? How was the communication?
Good. The communication looked awesome. One of the things I do have jotted down here was how strong the DBs looked for this defense. Like, they were flying around the ball. Darby was shadowing, Sammy all day and had really great coverage on him.
Yeah, dude, they were sticking to Sammy today.
Yeah, they were. They were making a point to not to have that be a thing anymore, where he's not getting targets. Sammy Watkins is in line for 100+ targets this year, and he's going to play himself. If he stays healthy, he's going to play himself into a huge contract. But the defensive backs, back to your initial question, is interesting. Micah Hyde was playing a little more of a center field position. Behind him was Trey Elston, the safety. And then at more of your strong position was Jordan Poyer coming down in the box, and then Bakari Rambo. So you had a good mix of safeties.
Now, the safeties in this defense, would you know, how are they going to differ from each other? Is it pretty much a flat position, or is it really a true free safety or strong safety? Like, is it going to matter, or is it more like a rotation or a committee,
Maybe a little bit of a rotation, but it might be more of a flat where you do have a free and you do have a strong, from what I interpreted today. We'll see how it develops throughout the next couple of days, but to me it looked like you do have a defined free safety and a defined strong safety.
Okay. All right, well, anything else that you have from camp? I mean, reporting here from Grandstand Sports Network is Kevin, I'm not going to pronounce your last name. Massare. So, yeah.
Anything else from camp? I would say Shady was looking good, as always. I would say they were using their fullbacks a lot, out and pass too, not just run block. Did a lot of special teams work. I think your special teams units will get better. Hauschka looked on compared to Carpenter. Austin Recco behind him, our free agent kicker punter, has a shot to beat out Colton Schmidt at the punter position. And I do think they have a lot of mix and match going on in kick and punt return. So I do think you'll see an increase in special teams. I think you'll see an increase in defense. Where the offense will go, that's the question I still have.
I think it's going to be just fine, man. Like, come on. I don't buy that you don't target Rick Dennison. He's a free agent guy. You bring him in. He's already worked with Tyrod. At least somebody reached out to somebody.
Well, then if you're saying the offense is fine and I'm saying the special teams and defense will be fine, then, that has the makings of at least a 9-7 season based on my early season
It's
roster.
like when you look at how they lost games this last year and how close they still were, even though people want to say they're really that close, but they forget that scenario that they needed the last week, I think actually didn't happen. So,
Right.
You can't put stock into that. But there's usually about 3 buffoon games early, top first 10 games of a Bill season out of 16, and I'm just like, damn it. Really, that was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And it's like a duh mistake, not like a, and everybody has mental errors. It's going to happen. But there's errors from not being prepared, and there's errors from, just having it happen because it's probability,
Right.
So it's like the correctable errors, correctable mistakes, and it's like a lot of it comes down to coaching. So
For sure.
I just trust that we're seeing this defense, man. Number one concern I had was, do we have the personnel to fly like Carolina's defense? Well, if you're saying it looks fast and I'm saying it looks fast, I think it looks fast. So that's something within the technique of the defense that is working.
Right.
So,
I'm with you, man. I think there's a lot of good notes to take out of today, and I think that the one I can say with flying colors would be that the defense is going to improve from last year. The mess of a scenario with not being able to stop Jay Ajayi at any point. I don't think you'll see that anymore. You started to see different players swarm to the ball, and just the positioning and just the mentality is different. So once again, we'll see where the offense goes, but I can say with a certainty that I do, with the way that the defense is now and the healthy pieces, you have Ragland healthy, you have Shaq Lawson healthy, you have Micah Hyde, who was better than both the safeties on the field last year. You have Trey White, who shouldn't be much of a downgrade from Stephon Gilmore. You have a potentially better looking Darby. You also have Gerald Hodges, Lorenzo Alexander. You have some of the same pieces there with him and Preston Brown. Kyle Williams is back. I mean, Marcel Darius is focused. I see a top 10 defense.
I just, again, you just got to clean up the mistakes. You got to put the players in the right position. Stop. I'm short, Italian guy. I can't jump too high. I'm not jamming the ball. Don't put me there. You know what I mean? Phil Jackson would never put me in that position. So don't do it. You know, like, I'm not a center.
I'm with you.
You know, like, come on. And I think that's really it, is these coaches, they talk crap about their systems, and it's like, just work with what we got here. Come on. You're going to get the credit either way. Why don't you just build a better mousetrap, dude? Like, come on. Like, that's all I want to see, is stop overthinking it. So, all right, dude, I'll let you go, and I'll just let you wrap up. Where can we find you on Twitter? What do we got going on here? We have constant coverage. You're going to hear from either Kevin or me or Drew Gear from Rockfire Report. Who else might be down there as well?
We have, I think the only other person would be Nate Geary would also be down there as well. With us. So it'll be that, and then you'll hear more from Eric Turner on a off-site basis, kind of putting things together, putting our pieces of information together, and going from there.
Hell yeah, man. Well, Kevin, where can we find you on Twitter, dude?
Yeah, you can, as always, once again, you can find me at Kevin Massare, and at Cover One Bills. So
do you have an email address? Do you want to take I mean, you're a taken man, so you can't do any love letters, but do you do email or not really?
Sure. Yeah. Why not? I mean, if you have any questions and you can't reach to me on Twitter, definitely send an email to Kevin at Q as in Queen, CMNY.com.
That was so cool, man. I don't know why you did that, but cool. You're a good sport. So
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, Kevin, thanks, man. I'll just let you go, and I'll just shoot you a text or something. So.
All right, man. Look forward to seeing this up later tonight, and we'll see you at camp soon.
All right, man. Take care, Kevin. Thank you.
Yeah, take care. Yeah, bye-bye.
All right, so that's Kevin. I love Kevin. Kevin's a good dude. You know, he's one of the very few out there today that had khaki pants on, top to bottom. Because we're not wearing shorts at Grandstand Sports Network. Not doing it. We're pros. So I can't wait to get khaki pants. I actually have khaki pants, and then I cut them into shorts because that's, you know, the look I like to roll with, especially when you get it from Goodwill because it's fun. And they are giving me press credentials. Like, what's... I feel like I'm living in idiocracy sometimes. Is this like for real? If you found this podcast, I'm shoving a hot dog in my face at Coney Island and at Daniels. And that guy is going to be at a press conference and maybe ask Sean McDermott a question if I have a good one, which I will, because I take this serious. I can send you pictures of my notepad. Yeah, I might joke a little bit, a little JKing, but chill out. Very serious dude about the Bills. But thank you for listening. Get on numbillsfan.com. You want to support the podcast, go to the link with the shirt. Pick yourself up a shirt. Limited sizes available. Has some stuff coming up that I will be creating that I got in contact with my dude to make. So have some stuff coming up on the Etsy store. So please just click through if you want to support and do that. Subscribe to the podcast. If you enjoy what you hear, just tell your friends. My whole mission statement is really just authentic sports talk and NFL talk. And really, I'm always going to do an exclusive Buffalo Bills podcast for at least 2 weeks about the Bills during the season. That's just how it goes. And then there will be probably one about the NFL. My friend Sean Timmerman, who's going to be on very soon. Tim Avery will be back very soon to talk more Bills stuff. I got a couple other guests lined up that I'm pretty stoked on. We got Del Reed from the Bills Mafia coming on. Ran into him today at training camp, and that was awesome. Just walking by, we kind of gave each other like the double look, like, hey man, oh, dude, hugs not drugs. I gave him a hug, and that's like a great human being. I like good human beings, and he runs 26 shirts. He's a good dude, and he's just somebody you won't hear a bad thing about. And he's the starter of Bills Mafia. I mean, it's crazy. It's just so crazy because I got on Twitter during the Terrell Owen days, Chad Ochocinco days, just to I was like a little egg. And those are like my early follows. I mean, there's like a bunch of people. And some of those people became media members. And, Kevin was somebody who was a younger kid up on the boards and stuff. And I used to just always be in Buffalo Rumblings. So to finally, I don't know, be in a position to ask a question, it's like really weird. I don't know. Very humbling, but pretty stoked. Like really, really stoked because it's an opportunity to spread not a positive message, but more of an objective. What the hell's really going on with the team? Because I don't think it's that bad, which is the truth. And I just would love to spread some kind of objective media because trends are going to go a certain way. Well, people are sick of the bullshit, and if you're listening to this, thank you for listening. You could tune in to me, find me on Twitter at NumbBillsFan, on Instagram at NumbBillsFan. My personal is David J. Palermo. Hit me up on Facebook. Also, we're out on Facebook, and I will periodically have podcasts almost, I don't want to say daily, but just keep refreshing your feeds. Please subscribe on iTunes. If you like what you hear, just tell your friends. It might not seem like much, but do it. You want to rate us? That's even better. But just tell your friends about it. And I just try to have some good people on who can talk well and know what the hell they're talking about. And we have some good guests coming up. So it should be like a really fun season. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to have Nick from the Red Pinto Tailgate come on. And it should be awesome to find out what that tailgate's all about. So this party spot for you if you want to get wild during the season, where to go, where to park, all that crap. Don't forget grandstandsportsnetwork.com. Talked about that forever. Find them on Twitter, Instagram as well, Facebook. Shoot them a follow. Thank you to them for making this happen. Like, a lot of people talk about what they're going to do, and these people just show up and do it. I cannot be more grateful about it. So thank you. And also don't forget puntdrunksports.com. Get your ass on Netflix. Check out Ari Shafir's special Double Negative. Go check out Sam Tripoli's album up on iTunes, his comedy album. Totally forgot what it's called. Sorry, dog. And then follow Jason Tivo on Twitter. And he does some fun shit. I don't know. He's just really funny. Good podcast. Punt Drunk Sports at Punt Drunk on Twitter. puntdrunksports.com. And I am David Palermo, your host of this thing. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for all the positive feedback. And I'll be back very soon. I cannot wait to get my ass to camp. Like, dead serious. I just don't know what footwear I want to wear. Probably going to go Air Max 90s. They're classic. And they're probably the best Nike shoe ever made. You want to argue with that? We could do that. Oh, yo, I got this dude, King Shoe Fiend, coming on or something. Is that his name? Yeah, on Instagram. This dude, he paints shoes. I don't know what he does. Does something cool with shoes. I like shoes. All right. Take care. NumbBillsFan.com. Check it out. Tell your friends, tell your family. And good night.